to Denny. Okay.
Why don't we start from the beginning?
Do you remember your first kiss and your first girlfriend?
Oh my God. Well, the first girl I was in love with was Jocelyn Eldelardo in first grade.
Oh.
Facebook.
In
Who's
first
looking
grade.
it up?
Look it up.
In first grade.
How do you spell that?
And I never once spoke to her.
Eldorado?
You never spoke to her. Aww. Little Jackie O just in love from afar.
And Carol Jacobs and I held hands at the Strand Theater at a 50-cent matinee up in Zillionople.
Silly. Wow.
And she wore a poncho, and it was like July. It was 90 degrees out, so we could hold hands under her poncho. But midway through the movie, I'm looking and I go,
hands.
my hand's sweaty. Can I let go?
Under the poncho.
Yeah, under the poncho in July.
If I would have only known that poncho was good for other things, I was old enough. That was back when ponchos were big. Go-go boots and ponchos.
So who was your first kiss?
First kiss. Minnie Hack.
Minnie Hack. How old were you?
She was from Zillionople.
No, talking about your first kiss, not your mini.
Little red-haired girl. Charlie Brown's little red-haired girl from Zillionople. It was in Mike Schmidt's basement. Spin the bottle.
Oh.
Mini hat?
Minnie
Mini
Hack.
No, that is a mini hat.
That was 7th grade.
7th grade. Did you make her your first girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She couldn't.
It was short-lived because we were up at the park playing baseball, and she said, "Let's go for a walk." Let's go. You said you would go for a walk in the trail. Yeah, well, we're playing baseball.
Short-lived.
First things first.
Yeah.
Sandlot.
Relationship
Sandlot
over.
life.
Baseball is important.
All right. So who was your first girlfriend?
First girlfriend had to be Ruth Pellegrini in high school.
Ruth Powell.
Yeah, we went out for
Good.
4 years. We were voted Mr. and Mrs. Quigley High School, voted most likely to get married in their senior class. And all
Okay, so that would be your first girlfriend.
Oh.
that. Yeah,
Ruth.
yeah, and that was. And she broke up with me when we went to college.
Where did she go to college?
St. Louis
Oh
Physical
no.
Therapy.
Did you try to get her back? Did you write her
Did
letters?
you try to get it back?
Yeah, but she was dating some grad student. She was a freshman,
Fishy.
We don't need her.
and we never did the dirty deed.
Oh, a gentleman.
No, I wasn't.
I tried.
But what pissed me off was when she broke up with me, I said, "Did you guys?" She said, "Well, yeah, he's 22. I was like, boing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't boing.
It could be a boy.
Okay, so what was your first job?
Are you kidding me? When wasn't I working?
I know. Your very first employed job.
Employed outside of the old man?
Yes.
Like
Okay.
taxes
Oh,
taken
okay.
out.
Because
I also was
we
like,
didn't
was it
get
not
paid.
just the Blarney stuff?
I mean, everything, right. You work
Like outside of
construction and
that.
Blarney Sign and the farm. I'm not sure when we weren't working. It's like the old man hated sleep because it meant you weren't working. It was a waste of time. What?
Did you get paid for it?
Time is money, and if you're wasting time, you're wasting money.
We got tips at the Blarney Sign.
Crabs.
The only thing we got was tips at the Blarney Sign. He wouldn't pay us.
So first employed.
Or construction. When I went to Duquesne, I got a job as security guard working the midnight shift at Gateway Center. And that's what I learned commercial real estate. Because I used to talk to the property managers when they would come in the morning. I opened the loading dock and they all parked their cars at the loading dock building 4 Gateway Center. And I befriended one guy who actually went to school oddly with Marty Dorish in college. And so he was showing me and telling me all about the business and everything, and I got turned on to it. But I worked midnight shift, put myself through college. The old man gave me a Zippo, told me to go join the Army when I gave him my scholarship in Kentucky. And he said, yeah, they have a GI pen. Go do that for a while. Go join the Army. You can get some GI plan money when you get out and go back to school. So, will give me a dime. So I had a union job, was paying $6.50 an hour, and back in 1980, 81, that was all the money in the world, man. That was big union money. So I had an apartment, put myself through school, which was one of the greatest stories of all time at Duquesne. Mary Kay got me in because she was working in the admissions office at Duquesne. So when I left Kentucky, she said, I can get you to Duquesne. Okay, so I went to Duquesne,
Stuck
enrolled,
in there.
and had some grant money and things, and, you know, got through the first semester, almost flunked out because I didn't know how to study. But anyway, I would go up there and talk to the admissions and said, well, you don't have the money to go to school, go work, get your money, come back, and you can pay for your classes. Because you had to pay ahead of time for your classes. Well, that's not going to work. I said, I can pay while I'm going. I have a job, working full time. They said, well, it doesn't work that way. You got to have the money, pay it. So I wrote a check, the admissions office, gave it to Mary Kay, she put it through. By the time back in those days, anything automated, they'd do everything by hand. By the time and I would walk down to PNC Bank and cancel the check. And by the time they would catch it, it was like already midway through the semester. The phone would ring, calling all the time. And Mr. White from finance, the financial office up there, kept calling and leaving messages. I would never call him back. And then I would slowly pay it off. And by the end of the semester, I'd have it all paid off, or most of it paid off. And next semester, I'd get this thing, you know, we're dismissing you, blah, blah, blah. So I went to Father Crowley, and Father Hogan, who was from County Kerry.
I had lunch with Hogan
Yeah.
when I was there.
Did he tell you any of my stories?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Great guy.
and I used to tell him stuff, and he would just smile and laugh and say, you're funny, don't worry that. You know, he was from Ireland. And he used to hang with Lawrence all the time. And I said, am I getting dismissed? You're not getting dismissed, don't worry about it. But you know, you can't keep canceling those checks. I'm like, no. Next semester I go, I apply, put my thing in, give them a check, walk down to PNC, cancel it. And it cost me like $20 to cancel the check, which I hated, but I gave it to them, $20, canceled it. By the time they caught up with me, most of the semester was over, I had lunch paid in.
Oh my.
And Mr. White was constantly calling me. And this went on for 2.5 years. And finally, I get called, and Father Hogan calls me and says, hey, you gotta come up here and see Mr. White, I'll come with you. So we go up, and we're sitting there in Mr. White's office, and Father Hogan's sitting there, I'm sitting there, and White's pissed. Do you realize what you're doing is a federal offense? That's fraud, that's bank fraud. You could go to federal prison. And I'm looking at Hogan, he's just sitting there doing this. And I was feeling a little bit upbeat, and I said, let me tell you something, Mr. White, do you know where I work? He says, yeah, you work as that security guard down at that building. I said, Gateway Center. I work down at Gateway Center. You know what I worked for? KDKA. I didn't, but I said, because it was they were in our buildings down there. I said, I see all those people at KDKA every day. Wouldn't they love to have a story how Duquesne, the charitable university, is booting out a kid who's working his ass off through school and paying his semester at the end of his semester every year. I have no debt at the end of the semester, and you're going to boot me out of school. Wouldn't that be a great story with your name all over it? And I'm sitting back. Hogan's just giving me. And he just gives him one of these, and I'm sitting there looking at White, and he's looking at me. He goes, "Get out of here!" I get up and I look at Hogan, and he goes, "You leave." And he stayed. I took off.
You leave.
I go up because I had to make a payment, and there's White walking into the building, and he sees me, and I'm going like this with my check. You know, I walk out. Now the wildest part of all that is the guy never spoke to me again, right? I said to Hogan, how'd it go after that? He said, well, it was loud. He said, but you're fine, don't worry about it, you're gonna graduate. I parked at the manager building, which I still park there for all my 40 years of working.
Yeah.
He parked there, Mr. White. I would see him every morning and every evening.
Mr. White.
And I would just smile, and I'm in a suit and tie. He's telling me I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna, this kind of is bad behavior. You're never gonna make it in life and all this stuff. And I'd be in my tie and my suit, and I would just wear it. And I'd go out of my way to
Hey,
walk
Mr.
by.
White.
Just,
Hey, how's it going?
I was a little bit of a dick.
That's so funny though.
But I always hated that. Catholic University, and they're supposed to be charitable, and they wouldn't help you out, and you're working full time. They'd rather boot you out of school till you get money. Well, I'd never go back. I never would have went back if I would have left.
Right.
Yeah.
Never would have went back.
Just go to real estate school.
That's hilarious.
I wouldn't even have done that. I don't know what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Carpenter.
Yeah. probably.
Carpenter, yeah. So what was high school like? What kind of student were you? Did you ever get in trouble in
Oh
school?
man, this is a loaded question.
This will be quick.
Yeah.
Nice and quick.
I got in a load of trouble all through grade school, paddled by
What's
the
the
nuns.
best
I can't
one?
even tell you how many times I was paddled by the
That
nuns.
story.
Sister Marie Herman, she used to beat the shit out of me with that paddle. She had holes in the paddle, so
Yeah.
it was aerodynamic. When it hit you in the
We in
arms.
those Catholic schools.
Yeah.
So.
Did you
That's
ever
not my time.
leave?
Yeah.
Did you,
I had to raise
were there holes in your paddles too?
Sister Lucy broke my desk. We had these new desks that we moved in second grade. It was just
Broke the desk.
had the book thing underneath. It was wired. It was just a flat desktop with a little tray underneath. But it was on this one pole that went this way, and she walked by and she smacked my desk, and the desk flipped up like this. Broke it.
What did
She
you do?
paddled.
Carried on with cursive.
But no, in high school, it's a whole different story. But I had the keys to the school. I was part of that
What a mistake.
crowd that, no, I was given the keys. I had the keys to the whole school. Oh, shit.
How do you get that keys?
Yeah, it's like,
I was in the protected crowd of guys and jocks. We just had.
you guys,
You're-
keys.
This is the brotherhood.
Yeah.
I had the keys in the pop machine. There were only 3 people that had keys.
Oh my
What?
god.
Yeah.
Because you were just
Like
good
the
at
king of the
sports.
school.
No, I used to fill the pop machine and take the money down to the accountant and drop it off in her office. And I never took any money out of it,
Sit down there.
but I used to take pop and give it out to the guys,
To the fellas.
these fellas.
Love it.
I had the keys to the teacher's lounge. I had the master keys of the school.
Oh, President.
We used to take the truck and we'd have to plow we'd come in, you'd have to come in, stay over and plow the parking lot when it snowed. But we'd take the truck home at night or on the weekends and we'd plow people's driveways, make money.
We'll do
Yeah,
it.
so with the school truck.
I can't believe I had keys to the school.
Yeah.
It was like 9 through 12, right? Like when one
9 through
building.
12, yeah.
So what activities were you involved in school?
Well, I was on student council. I was, for 4 years, vice president for 3 years, president for 1. I was, wrestling, played football my freshman year. But then I got good at wrestling. That was pretty much it. And in chorus.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
where the pipes.
The barbershop quartet. Right?
Chorus was big. Not only was I in chorus, but I was in the swing chorus.
About that
And we used to travel around and do shows.
The
I joined
swing.
chorus. That
Swing
was
chorus.
like, yeah, I
The
did that.
swing.
Hello, my
chorus.
baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, ragtime.
Little soprano.
We knocked out some Bohemian Rhapsody back then.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
That's a killer.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
Scaramouche.
Go to Fandango. Thunderbolt lightning, very, very frightening. Galileo.
Galileo.
That's why he likes to sing.
Magnifico.
Oh, oh,
That's
oh,
why
oh.
you like.
That's why.
Little Wayne's World. You know.
So what
Believe it or
were
not, chorus was like the cool thing to do at our school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I sang your song by Elton John at the spring chorus.
Oh, your song.
Oh,
Yeah,
solo?
did a solo.
solo?
It's a little bit funny.
That's why you went to
Let's
9
bring it back.
proms.
Did 9 proms.
If I start
Yeah,
singing
that's
that,
more than 9,
if I
you
sing
know.
the rest of it, it's gonna put me to bed.
That was 10 or 11. But
Oh well.
might have been 9. You might be right. Might be thinking of deer.
Huh?
There's a bug by your heel. A big
What?
I'm surprised they let you do a little
Big
Elton
old
John
roach.
at that roach.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's hard.
All right. What were your
Can't get hurt
favorites?
and know about it.
Well, I guess we kind of talked about this too. Your favorite sports to watch, favorite sports to play, favorite teams, kind of stuff like the Pirates and.
Believe it or not, Dennis and I were huge hockey guys from the time we were like, I can remember.
Oh, really?
Uncle Mick and Patty Mahoney had season tickets to the not the Penguins, the predecessor, the Hornets, Pittsburgh Hornets. And we used to go with them and watch hockey. And it was just, we got just totally fascinated by it. Dennis actually had a shortwave radio. We would pull in games when the Penguins were away because they were hardly ever on TV. And we would listen to the games on the radio. Just about every night we listened to the radio,
That's so
Penguin
cool.
games. But baseball was it. I mean, that was growing up. Baseball was king, and then like in the mid '70s, Steelers got good and started winning Super Bowls. Of course, that took over. But Gaelic football was it.
Gaelic.
It was 100% the circle sport in our family and life.
Gaelic all the way?
Yep.
All right. Oh, speaking of prom, who did you go
Which
to
one?
prom with?
Which one?
I know we just said we went to 9 proms. Who did you go to prom with? Oh, good night, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Good night, Ruby.
Good night, Rube.
Love y'all.
Night night.
What about
What about me?
Aww.
Oh,
come on,
Pappy.
Oh,
Pappy's over here
we're
spinning.
celebrating Pappy.
We're celebrating.
I want
Pappy's
lips.
over here spinning the yarn.
Right here.
He went to 9
Oh,
proms.
look at this.
Haha.
Right
Not on
comparison
camera.
moment, right under my nose.
So who'd you go to prom with? What do you remember most about the high school dances?
Oh, for God's sakes.
That'll kill me.
Well, you went to like 9
I
because
did.
they're gonna hate you.
You want me to name all the
Soon as
people I went
Apple
to?
What was like the no grab ass?
Yeah,
Just do it real
What
quick.
was
just
like what?
Working it out.
Yeah, no.
lad.
Look at this. He's so fun.
Well, I went to first prom I went to was with Martha Fox and Mary Kay. But I was Martha's date.
Poor Tito just doesn't want to come out.
He was on the bed for a little bit.
Chilling.
Well, with Ruth to 2, junior prom, senior prom.
Nope.
Katie Minnock to 2, her junior prom, senior prom.
Ooh, a cockroach.
Valerie Sylvester, my mom didn't go to.
Yeah,
It's under your chair.
There's like a couple of them.
Oh yeah, I see.
I went
Oh, there it is.
He's running around.
Minnie Hack.
Be careful, though.
Got him.
lad, no.
Mini
Don't
hats, my
eat
favorite.
bugs.
You won't
I went
hurt
with
him.
Claire Tobin when I was a freshman in college, and when I was a freshman in college, I went with the family daughter who, they were my sponsor when I wrestled in Kentucky my freshman year, and went to her senior prom.
Oh yeah.
That was 9 proms. Only 2 of which I really wanted to go to.
Yeah,
Did you
neither
enjoy any of
them.
them?
No, my mom's thing, if a girl asks you to dance at an Irish dance, you dance with her, you do not. So that, you'd have to dance with whomever at an Irish
I mean,
dance.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Like it or
that's
not.
polite. That's polite.
She loved Katie Minnock. The guys, we're friends.
Allison, you can watch
We
it.
went to
I'm
there.
not gonna go to
Valerie
sleep.
Sylvester was her.
Are you sure? This is late for me.
Aw.
All right, good night, sweetie.
Wait, what about
Sure?
kisses?
That's mine. It's mine. Allison, it's mine.
That's hers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Back to it. Irish dances, you had to dance.
We had a dance.
As it is.
How to dance.
It was interesting learning dance when we were younger. So there was, like I said, the first family. Dennis had to dance with my mom, and I always had to dance with Mary Kay. And Nana taught us all the Irish dance.
Dude,
Shoot the
Christopher.
donkey, the keel row, the siege of Venice, everything. Nana taught us. We'd clear the dining room table out. She'd play Irish music. And we'd have to learn the waltz and everything. So it was always stuck with it. That's why I always enjoyed waltzing with my mom.
I would say Nana was always about the dances.
Yeah.
Love it. So, what colleges were you interested in? Was it always Kentucky? Or was there a college?
No, I
you
was
really
always a
wanted-
Pitt guy. I mean, grew up huge Pitt fan. Always thought I'd go to Pitt. But Pitt didn't have a very good wrestling program back then. Even though Western Pennsylvania wrestling was like the mecca of wrestlers,
Mhm.
but Pitt never put a focus on it till recently. And they didn't offer me anything. So, you know, college was.
Did you get into like a few colleges and then had to
I
pick?
had
Or
like
did you?
7 or 8. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you seek out Kentucky? Did they recruit you?
No, they
or-
were the only big Division I school that offered me, and I thought that was cool. So I went there.
That is cool.
I mean, it is cool.
And they had just won the national championship that year with Cal Macy and those guys. I thought, wow, this is really cool. I'm going to go to a big time program.
Yeah.
But it was stupid. I should have went to Lehigh. Great school. Bucknell, Lehigh, and all those good schools. But I
And then you
didn't go
picked
to-
Duquesne because Mary Kay.
Yeah, I wanted to, I was done, blew up my
Get
knee,
in.
I was pretty well done with Kentucky, and then Mary Kay was in Michigan. She goes, I can get you in. I said, all right, she got me in.
Get me in with Mr. White.
Yeah, we know the rest.
Science.
I was gonna say this next question was said, what was your college experience like? But
Kentucky was interesting, but it was all work. Back then, that was before the NCAA crackdown, so they just beat the shit out of the athletes because the coaches were only as good as these kids that were gonna perform for them. And they had to win, or they were gonna get fired. And they treated you like that. You were like meat.
Chattel.
Just meat. They didn't care about you, they didn't care if you're hurt, they didn't give a shit. They only cared about winning. And, so that was kind of a baptism for a young kid. They kiss your ass to come there.
yeah.
As soon as you get there, you're a piece of meat.
Well, so what was it like when you blew out your knee? Were you sad about it? Or were you kind of like really?
No, it was the second time I had an operation. My junior year, I blew it out, went through my whole senior year having to get it taped there before every match, and I got it operated on. So when I went to my high school graduation in crutches, it was a week after I had the surgery. Back then, surgeries were not like surgeries today. They do a little cut, they go in, they can do all this microscopic stuff. Back then, they hit you with a chisel and a hammer. And,
Oh. But like, were you sad that
see
your
what's going on.
were
Oh,
you,
so that's what that looks like.
Funny, I've never done
Wow.
this before.
Wait a minute. This looks like a knee.
Someone watch where that landed.
I'm here to
It might
take
be
out his
important
appendix.
later.
He's not gonna need that. Like, still a
Ooh, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
so were you sad that your career ended, or were you kind of
This
relieved?
I was
doesn't buzz like
Yeah.
the
I was
game
very
does.
happy. Yeah. I was done. I was
Done.
Buzz like operation.
It was a great discipline. It was a great experience. It's something that kept with me to this day. I still have that itch when I watch wrestling. And having watched Conlon really gave me a rebirth. I enjoyed watching him wrestle so much, and that's why I think I have a special bond with him.
Yeah.
But to this day, I still feel like it's in there. It saved me a million times in fights. The Blarneys don't have to throw people out or subdue somebody. I'm always comfortable, even to this day, that I'm not going to get hurt.
Right.
Don't touch me, because you might get hurt, but I know that I'm not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's a great, confident feeling,
Yeah.
until somebody punches you in the face.
Right.
Well, everyone has a plan.
So punch down in the nose.
Until you get
Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
I busy.
What was your major, and what were your favorite subjects?
Believe it or not, probability and statistics was one of the things that stayed with me in college that I still use to this day. I love prob and stats. If I could have just done that all through college, I would have got straight A's. History, of course, I love poli-sci, though I didn't get into it too much, a couple of classes. But I always loved political science. It was really cool. Just the whole sociological part of it tied into, the structure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you always have the same major, or did you switch?
I always knew I was gonna be in sales,
Sales,
so, I mean, it was just marketing.
right.
Plus, it was also the easiest course to take.
What was your favorite memory from college? Where did you go out / party in college?
Molly's. Little dive bar at the bottom of Duquesne. Favorite memories of college, God. Well, I was fighting just about every Saturday night. Friday nights was for
The good old days.
The good old days.
good old days.
Things were simpler.
Yeah.
Things were
We just fight it.
Yeah,
Saturday night, we fought.
being in the Playboy group, the guys in the
Yeah.
Playboy, you know, our organization was absolutely fascinating fun. They were just a great group of misfits. Everybody thinks of Playboy, oh, a bunch of stud. No, we were misfits, and it was the greatest collection of it because anybody who couldn't get in a fraternity, we automatically took. It
The
didn't matter
Playboys.
who they were, you're in. They didn't accept you, you're in. We were GDIs, Goddamn Independents, and we were anti-fraternity. And every year we beat the shit out of the fraternity because they always had their fraternity league. Then they had the GDI league, which other schools like the law school and all that, you know, farms, they all had their teams in it and all the independent. And the independent league would go and kick the shit out of the fraternity winners, you know, every year. But so that was always fun. But I had a great group of friends and
The Playboys.
yeah.
Did you started it with who else?
What, Playboys?
Yeah.
Oh no, they were going around. They were there since 1956 or 57.
Oh, it was like
Yeah.
a established
Yeah.
thing. Who
Yeah.
were your roommates?
Chris Raftis. Yeah, Kevin McLaughlin. Yeah, Chris and I are still buds to this day.
Yep.
Playboy.
Friends.
Oh,
Playboys.
speaking of fighting,
We used to have fun at the fair every year. They had this thing called Carnival at Duquesne. Do they still do Carnival? Oh, did they do Carnival? Anyway, Carnival was awesome. It was more a fraternity thing. The frats would put on shows. They each had a tent, and they would put on a show. And you would go into the show for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it was. And there was great talent. I mean, they put on really cool shows. We would set up, unsanctioned, a stand, and we sold hot dogs and hamburgers because they didn't have any food up there. And we had a raffle for a TV that no one ever bought. And it was basically a fundraiser donation. Pretty much everybody knew we didn't buy a TV and we weren't really drawing the raffle. You know, it was just going into the pot for beer money and stuff, you know, and buy shirts and hats. But we used to sell bunny burgers and play dogs.
oh my god.
That's hilarious.
And we
Welcome to the
made,
ranch.
but where we really made our money wasn't on the hot dogs and hamburgers. We sold beer, Iron City beer and IC Light out of the back. And we put them in paper cups. And people would come back, they'd ask for a drink. And Father Crowley or Hogan would come on, you got a drink? And, no, give me one of the good ones. Father, we have Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
And this is, Jackie, give me one of the good ones. I'd come back with an Iron City in the same cup and he'd walk off.
Nice.
He's like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we made a fortune selling beer out of the back of us. And then those guys from the frats would run over and they're all dressed up in their makeup and all that shit. And they'd run over looking for beers all the time.
Dressed up for me.
We'd make them buy them.
Nice.
The Playboys.
Yeah. And then everybody would come to my apartment because I worked midnight shift and there would be people in my bed. Every night I came home, there was somebody in my bed.
Oh my
And
god.
Sometimes there were
that-
2 people in my bed.
And you had that.
Sometimes
that,
there'd be
What
three
was-
people in my bed.
what was the name of that video player that you had that everybody would come over watch your
Oh,
free
we had a
movies?
beta.
Yep.
Yeah. And Chris,
Betamax.
Betamax, which was so much better than VHS.
Better than VHS, but
But-
somehow they won out.
But yeah, VHS wound up winning out on it because they were selling them cheaper. The Beta was a better product. But people didn't understand it back then. It was just the age of buying cassettes and tape. And we had, listen to this, we had Caddyshack and Hollywood Nights. Okay?
Hollywood Nights.
My dick is in the punch.
Yeah.
My dick is in the punch.
Hollywood Nights.
I mean, it was total. If you haven't seen Hollywood Nights, it was the forerunner to all those B chain groupie movies that they made, like Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yeah.
Caddyshack, all those
Porky's.
movies, all the slapstick, quick humor. Hollywood Nights, total class movie. Watch it sometime.
Hollywood.
Yeah, and all the stars are in it. It's like,
like
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so we had that in Canada, and everybody would come over to our apartment to watch this newfangled machine. You could watch a movie on your TV. It was amazing. You watch a movie on your TV.
It was amazing.
That's, yeah. That's
And
fun
yeah,
stuff
Chris
back
had a
then.
Betamax.
Very nice.
We're in a racket.
And everybody had a key to my apartment.
You had the key to the whole high school. Everyone had a key to your house.
No, I mean,
Do you remember your first flight? Getting on
To
the-
Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah, that was a big prop job. Oh, can I trouble you for a wee one?
Yeah.
Can I trouble you?
This one.
Okay,
Yeah.
what was your first job out of college? Or what was your favorite job?
Well, first job was working for the Galbraith Company,
Galbraith.
doing commercial leasing.
You graduated from college and you were like, I'm gonna go do.
I got the job before I graduated college. In fact, that's one of the things that was making me nervous about my last class, because I had night school, but I had one day class. So I went to the teacher in the day class in the last semester of college when I was graduating, and I said, "Hey, look, I work midnight shift. This is just an elective. It's a pass-fail. I'm not going to come to class because I usually go to bed when I get done off my midnight shift. Do you mind if I just read it and I do the reports and take the tests and everything?" I said, "Sure, I don't care. It's
Which
fine."
one to lay with? You don't wanna get.
Well, it didn't work out that way because I never went to class, I never took the test, I never did any assignments.
No, they'll find us.
they'll find
So I
it.
went
Like,
to
fail.
So I was like, oh, don't you wanna just sleep with
and
Sylvie
I
then
got
you
this
have somebody
notice
there?
that
He's like, no,
you have
just
an
do it, Dad.
incomplete.
I was
You
like,
didn't
oh,
fail
like,
me.
or Connor.
Gave me an
He
incomplete.
also asked for Connor.
And I wasn't gonna graduate, and I already had my job
I
at
was
the
like,
Galbraith Company.
go.
He was like,
I was like,
Uncle Connor sleep with me. I'm like,
So
You're gonna wake up, he's gonna be all covered.
We'll
in
pause
shit.
for a second.
you might find his
Pretend
old
it's
CDs. Oh gosh.